Good day, students. Today we are going to look at the law of supply. Now, as you know, every law has various, it consists of various parts, which include the statement, followed by the assumptions, then we have a schedule, then we have a diagram, and the explanation of the diagram. All these together, they form the law of supply. Let us look first at the statement. What does the statement tell you? The statement is basically the relationship that holds between the two variables, price and supply. Price being the main determinant of supply. Now, what is the relationship? As the price of the commodity goes up, the producer is willing to supply more units of the commodity. Or if the price comes down, the same producer is now willing to offer less units of the commodity for sale. Now, this relationship holds true when you have other factors remaining constant. Now, which are these other factors? All the other factors besides price which influence supply. So, therefore, we come to the next part, and that is your assumptions. So, hence, we assume certain factors to remain constant so that the positive relationship can be held, can be true. So, which are some of these assumptions? One, there is no change in the price of the factors of production, no change in technique of production, no change in the goal of the firm. In short, basically all the determinants of supply, if they remain constant, that becomes an assumption. Okay? So therefore now which are the other determinants, which would be the other assumptions? No change in government policy, then we would have no change in business environment, business confidence remains the same. Okay? So all these other factors, when they remain constant, it becomes an assumption. The next is your schedule, and this schedule is basically a tabular representation of the relationship between supply and price. As we know, supply depends on price. So at every level of price, how much is the quantity of the commodity that the producer is willing to offer for sale? So going by the schedule, we know that at rupees 10, the supplier, the producer is willing to supply 100 units. At price 11, he is willing to supply 150. And you can see it increases, right? At price 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, the supply quantities that the producer is willing to offer for sale goes on increasing. So this schedule shows or explains the positive relationship between price and quantity supply. Now, if we have to represent this schedule in the form of a diagram, right? So a diagrammatic presentation of this table will result in the supply curve. So if we mark, so the supply curve will have X quantity supplied, which is measured on the X-axis, while price is measured on the Y-axis. And if we have to plot each of these points from the table, okay, it would result in drawing a curve which will have this kind of a shape. Now, what kind of a shape does this curve have? It has a upward rising positive slope. It's an upward rising. So now this upward rising curve tells you that when price increases from OP to OP1, the quantity supplied increases from OQ to OQ. So price increases, quantity supplied also increases. Right? This is the way you would explain any diagram that you are getting. So SS is the supply curve in this case. So this is all about the law of supply. Now, a little addition to this law would be some few exceptions to the law of supply. And what would be? Sometimes the law might not hold true under certain situations, so under certain circumstances. And what are those circumstances? One would be law of supply will not apply when in case of agricultural products. So, for example, let us suppose say price of a commodity like onions or any vegetable, okay, if the price rises, what will happen? Every producer will try to supply more. No? If price has gone up, I would like to produce more. But what will happen? Can I just increase the supply of onion overnight or within a small short period of time? No. Every commodity, mostly agricultural commodities, have their little have their time period for their production, isn't it? So just because price of onions have gone up doesn't mean that within 2 3 days I can produce more and I can sell more onions. No, it will take some time. So if onions take around 3 months to grow, 3 months have to lapse. They have to pass for the produce to get ready into the market. Clear? So in this case, law of supply will not hold true. Okay. So then, supply of goods having social distinction, goods which are associated with certain kind of prestige, okay, certain kind of status. Now remember, some of these goods are limited stock. We could say their supply is limited. For example, a painting of, let us say, Leonardo da Vinci. Now he's painting. If you go to see, it's limited. We won't get another painting again because he's not there. He's no longer there. So even if the price of the painting goes, we will notice all these type artifacts and all these things, okay, something of value, something of heritage, it's very limited. So the price of it will tend to rise, but supply cannot be increased because it is limited. And third would be, at some point in time, sellers are willing to sell more of a perishable commodity. Now, have you seen sometimes when you go to the market, suppose fish is a perishable commodity, it gets spoiled, right? Isn't it? At some point in time, especially you go towards the end, like you go in the evening time or late afternoon time to buy fish, you have these people who will sell the fish very cheap too, not the same price that they sold in the morning. Now, why are they doing it? Because towards the end, they realize that if it's not sold, it's going to get spoiled easily. Or maybe, they put it into ice or something. But still, even if it's in the ice, they will like to sell it at the earliest. No? So that at that point in time, they will not quote the same price that they had quoted in the morning. They will not quote a lower price. So when it comes to perishable commodities, so also will apply to certain types of vegetables, fruits. So when it comes to perishable commodities, sellers will be willing to sell more of it even at a lower price because they're highly perishable. Thank you.